I still remember the look in my daughter's eyes that night. It wasn't anger. It wasn't the look of a child crying because her mother had scolded her. It was the look of a grown woman who had become so exhausted that she no longer wanted to argue. Anna stood in front of me with her arms hanging loosely at her sides. She had been crying. I could still see the traces of tears on her cheeks. I thought I was protecting her. I thought I was doing what a good mother was supposed to do. I thought the man she loved wasn't good enough for her. I thought her new job was too risky. I thought the city she wanted to move to was too far away. I thought that if I didn't interfere, one day she would fail and come running back to me. I thought so many things. But I never thought those things would make my daughter say the words that changed everything. "Mom." She stopped for a long moment. Then she looked directly into my eyes. "Can you please let me live like an adult?" I didn't answer, because in that moment I suddenly realized something terrible. For 30 years I had spent my life teaching my daughter how to walk, but when she finally learned how to walk on her own, I was the one holding her back. My name is Evelyn Carter. I was 58 years old that year. I lived in a small house in the suburbs of Portland, Oregon. My husband, Richard, had been gone for almost 4 years. I wasn't wealthy. I wasn't famous. I had never thought of myself as a remarkable woman. I had worked as an accountant for an insurance company for more than 20 years. After Richard died, I retired earlier than I had planned. I had only one child. My daughter, Anna. She was 30 years old, smart, stubborn, kind, and at least according to the way I used to think, far too vulnerable. I had spent most of my life believing that I needed to protect her. It took me almost 30 years to understand that perhaps the person who needed protection the most wasn't Anna. It was me. I was so afraid of losing my daughter that I never realized I was pushing her away. But before I tell you what happened, I need to take you back to when Anna was still a little girl. Because if you only look at the things I did when she was 30, you might think I was a selfish, controlling mother who didn't respect her daughter. Perhaps you wouldn't be wrong. But I want you to understand something. I didn't become that woman overnight. It began with a promise I made when Anna was 6 years old. And it took me nearly 30 years to realize that some promises, even when they are made out of love, can become cages. Anna was born on a rainy day. I remember it perfectly. I was 28 years old. Richard was 30. We were living in a tiny rented apartment where the living room and dining room were practically the same space. Richard paced up and down the hospital hallway. Every time a nurse came through the doors, he jumped to his feet. Then, when he finally heard Anna's first cry, Richard covered his face with both hands. He cried. I had never seen my husband cry like that. When the nurse placed Anna in my arms, I looked at that tiny face and felt something inside me change. I didn't know how to explain it. I only knew that I was afraid. So afraid that my hands were shaking. I asked the doctor, "Is she healthy?" He smiled. "She's perfectly healthy." I looked down at Anna. There was a tiny red mark on her forehead. Her little hands were tightly clenched. Her tiny lips moved as if she were trying to say something. I leaned down and kissed her forehead. And I whispered, "Mommy will never let anything hurt you." I don't know whether Richard heard me, but I remember saying those words. I said them with all the love a young mother could possibly have. I didn't know then that those words would become a promise I would carry for the next 30 years. Anna grew up to be a sensitive little girl. She hated being yelled at. She hated being forced to do things. When she was 7, her teacher called me because Anna had received a poor grade on a math test. I asked her, "Are you upset?" She was sitting in the back seat of my car. She nodded. I said, "It's okay. You'll do better next time." She looked at me through the rearview mirror. "Aren't you mad at me, Mom?" I turned around. Why would I be mad? Because I'm not good at it. I pulled the car over. I turned around and looked directly at her. "Anna, your grades don't decide what kind of person you are." She smiled. I smiled back. It remains one of my favorite memories. But I didn't realize something then. From a very early age, I had started believing that I needed to protect Anna from every feeling of failure. When she was bullied, I went to the school. When a teacher misunderstood her, I demanded a meeting. When she wasn't chosen for the basketball team, I called the coach. When a boy rejected her in high school, I sat beside her on her bed for half the night. I was always there, always, and Anna became accustomed to it. So did I. I began to believe that if I wasn't there, something terrible would happen. Richard used to tell me, "Evelyn, you have to let her handle some things herself." I would usually answer, "She's still a child." Richard would smile, "She won't be a child forever." I would say, "I know," but deep down, I didn't want to think about that. I didn't want Anna to grow up. I wanted her to always need me. Maybe that was the truth I was too afraid to admit. I needed to feel useful. I needed to feel important to someone, because my own childhood had been very different. My mother was a cold woman. She never hugged me. She never told me she was proud of me. When I was 16, my father left. My mother had to work 2 jobs to support my younger brother and me. I understood how hard she worked, but I still grew up with a feeling of emptiness. I once promised myself that if I ever had children, I would do everything differently. I would always listen. I would always protect them. I would always be there. And I did. Perhaps I did it too well. When Anna was 18, she was accepted into a university in California. I cried for an entire week. Not because I was happy, because I was afraid. I asked, "Are you sure you want to go that far away?" Anna said, "Mom, it's the school I've dreamed about." I nodded. "Okay." But I began looking for every possible reason she should stay. It's expensive. It's far from home. You've never lived alone. Do you even know anyone there? You'll have to take care of everything yourself. Richard looked at me. "Evelyn!" I said, "I'm just worried about her." He answered, "I know. But you have to let her go." The day Anna left, I stood outside our house and watched her car disappear down the street. I cried. Richard put his hand on my shoulder. "She'll come back," I said. "I know." But deep inside, I was afraid she wouldn't. The 4 years of college passed. Anna came home one summer looking different, more confident, more independent. She had her first real job, friends, plans, a life of her own. I was proud. But at the same time, I began to realize that my little girl didn't need me the way she used to. She didn't call every day. She didn't ask what she should wear. She didn't ask which class she should take. She didn't ask where she should go. She started making her own decisions. At first, I was happy. Then I became sad. I didn't understand why. I had always said I wanted my daughter to grow up. But when she actually did, I felt as though I were losing her. After college, Anna got her first full-time job at an advertising company. The job wasn't great. Her boss was demanding. The salary wasn't impressive. The hours were long. One night, Anna called me. "Mom, I'm exhausted." I asked, "What happened?" "Work. Do you want to quit?" Anna laughed. "You always tell me to quit, because I hate seeing you miserable. But I need the experience. You can find another job." "Mom." "Yeah?" "I just wanted to tell you about my day." I went quiet. It was such a simple sentence. But I misunderstood it. Anna only wanted someone to listen. I heard a cry for help. That was my first mistake. From then on, whenever she said, "Mom, I'm tired today," I immediately thought, she needs me to fix this. I didn't understand that sometimes people don't want their problems fixed. They simply want someone to hear them. My second mistake came a few years later. Anna got promoted. She became a team manager. I was incredibly proud of her. But the job required frequent travel. Some weeks she flew to Seattle, sometimes Chicago, sometimes New York. I began worrying. I asked, "Are you traveling alone?" "With co-workers." "Men or women?" Anna laughed. "Why do you care?" "I'm just asking. There are men and women. Don't drink too much." "Mom, don't come back to your hotel too late. I'm 30 years old." I laughed. "I'm still your mother." Anna laughed too. But I didn't understand that those little comments were piling up, one after another, day after day, month after month, until Anna began telling me less. I didn't know. I thought she was busy. I thought she was simply becoming independent. I didn't realize she was learning to keep certain parts of her life private because she needed space. Then Daniel came into her life. His name was Daniel Brooks. I met him for the first time on a September evening. Anna said, "Mom, I want to bring someone over for dinner tonight." I asked, "Who?" "A friend." "Male or female?" Anna laughed. "Male." I paused. "Your boyfriend?" "Maybe." "What does maybe mean?" "I don't know yet." I smiled. "Okay." I spent the afternoon preparing dinner: roast chicken, mashed potatoes, salad, and apple pie. When the doorbell rang, I opened the door. Daniel stood there. He was about 32, tall, dressed casually, holding a bouquet of flowers. He handed them to me. "I'm Daniel." "I know." He smiled. "Anna has told me a lot about you. I hope only good things." He laughed. "I'm not sure I'm allowed to say." Anna appeared behind him. "Mom, don't scare him." I laughed. Dinner went surprisingly well. Daniel was easy to talk to. He worked in technology. He wasn't wealthy. He didn't brag. He didn't try too hard to impress me. He talked to me like a normal person. I like that. But I still watched him. I was a mother. Mothers watch. I noticed that he didn't drink much. He didn't smoke. He asked Anna about her work. He listened. He didn't interrupt her. I thought, he seems okay. After he left, I asked, "Do you like him?" Anna nodded. "Yes." "Is he good to you?" "Very." "Are you sure?" Anna laughed. "Mom." "Yeah?" "Don't start." I smiled. "I'm just asking. I know you." I let it go. But from that day on, I started watching Daniel. I checked his social media. I looked up the company where he worked. I looked at his friends. I read old posts he had made. At first, I was simply curious. Then I started searching for negative things. One day, I found an old photo of Daniel with another woman. I called Anna. "Who is the woman in that picture?" There was a pause. "An old friend." "An ex-girlfriend?" "Yeah." "Why did they break up?" "They weren't right for each other." I said, "Are you sure he's over her?" Anna laughed. "Mom, are you investigating my boyfriend?" "I just want to make sure. I'm fine." I ignored that. I kept searching. I discovered that Daniel had once been involved in a small business. It had failed. He had lost money. He eventually sold his car to help pay off the debt. I called Anna. "Did you know Daniel had debt?" She went silent. "Mom." "He had a business that failed." "I know." "How much?" "Not much." "Are you sure?" Anna sighed. Mom, I told you, I know. I said, I'm just trying to protect you. She replied, I don't need you investigating my boyfriend. I went silent. You don't need to do this, I said. But if I don't, who will? Anna answered, I will. Just one word. But I didn't listen. I continued. I told Anna that I didn't think Daniel was right for her. I gave her reasons. He had failed in business. He had once been in debt. He wanted to live in another city. His career wasn't as stable as I wanted. Anna listened to everything. Finally, she said, You don't have to like him. Okay. But I love him. You'll regret it. She looked at me. You don't know that. I'm your mother. She answered, But you're not me. I said nothing. That was the first time she said those words. I still didn't understand. I thought she was simply angry. A few weeks later, Daniel proposed. I found out when Anna showed me the ring. I hugged her. I cried. I said, Congratulations, she smiled. Are you happy, Mom? Of course. But that night, I called Richard. He had been gone for almost a year. I sat alone in the living room, staring at his empty chair. I said, Richard. I knew he couldn't answer, but I spoke anyway. I'm scared. I was afraid Anna would get married, afraid she would move away, afraid a man would become the most important person in her life, afraid one day she would call me once a month, afraid I would be left behind. I didn't want to admit it, but that was the truth. And from that fear, I began doing things I would later deeply regret. I called an old friend of Daniel's. I asked, Do you know anything about Daniel Brooks? He said, A little. I need to know whether he can be trusted. Why? He's going to marry my daughter. He laughed. Evelyn, your daughter is 30 years old. I know. She can make her own decisions. I just want to be sure. He was silent for a moment. Then he said, I think you should ask Anna. I didn't like that answer. I wanted to know without asking my daughter. I wanted certainty. I wanted guarantees. But life doesn't give mothers guarantees. A few weeks later, Anna received an incredible job offer. A large company in San Francisco wanted to hire her. The salary was almost twice what she was making. The position was senior management. There was a huge opportunity for growth, but it meant moving away. I immediately objected. No. Anna looked surprised. You haven't even heard everything. I don't need to. Mom. San Francisco is too expensive. The salary's much higher. That job will be stressful. I know. You'll be living far from home. I know. You and Daniel will barely see each other. Anna said, Daniel is moving with me. I froze. What? He found a job there. I felt as though someone had taken something away from me. I said, You can't make a decision like that so quickly. I've been thinking about it for 3 months. You and Daniel. Mom. What? You've never asked me what I want? I stared at her. What are you talking about? She laughed sadly. You always ask what I'm doing, what I'm eating, where I'm going, who I'm seeing, how much I'm working. You ask everything, but you never ask one simple question. I was silent. What question? She looked at me. Am I happy? I didn't know how to answer. She said, I want to go. I said no. She stared at me. Mom, I don't agree. She shook her head. I don't need your permission. I became angry. You're my daughter. Yes. And I only want what's best for you. I know. Then why won't you listen to me? Anna looked at me for a long time. Because you always think what's best for me is whatever feels safest to you. I said nothing. But my life isn't a problem you need to solve. That sentence hurt. I said, "You're changing." She replied, "No, I'm growing up." I said nothing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I thought about what she had said. But the next morning, instead of stepping back, I decided I needed to do something. I called Anna. I said, "If you move away, don't expect me to help you." I don't know why I said it. Maybe I wanted her to be afraid. Maybe I wanted her to feel guilty. Maybe I just wanted her to stay. Anna was silent. Then she said, "I understand." I hung up. I thought I had won. I hadn't. 3 days later, Anna sent me a text. I accepted the job. I stared at the screen. I didn't reply. A week later, she moved. There was no dramatic goodbye, no screaming, no big argument, just a moving truck. A few boxes, a short hug. Before she got into the car, Anna said, "Mom, I love you." I said, "I love you too." She looked at me. "Trust me." I didn't answer. The car drove away. I stood on the sidewalk, watching. I wanted to run after her, but I didn't. I went back inside. For the first time, the house felt too quiet. In the days that followed, I called Anna every day. The first day she answered. The second day she answered. The third day she said, "Mom, I'm working." The fourth, "I'll call you later." The fifth, "I'm fine." The sixth day, I called 3 times. No answer. I began to panic. I called Daniel. He answered. "Where's Anna?" "She's in a meeting." "Why isn't she answering?" "She's busy," I said. "I'm her mother." There was a pause. "I know." "Then why isn't she calling?" "Because she's trying to build a new life." I became angry. "You're making her distant from me." Daniel sighed. "I'm not." "You're taking my daughter away." "No." "You want her to live according to your plans?" "No." "Then why has she changed?" Daniel spoke quietly. "Maybe because for the first time she's living according to her own plans." I hung up. I hated him that day. I thought he was taking my daughter away from me. I didn't realize he had simply said the thing I didn't want to hear. About 2 months later, Anna called. "Mom." "Yes." "I want you to come to San Francisco." My heart lifted. "Really?" "Yes." "When?" "This weekend." I bought a ticket immediately. I thought maybe she missed me. Maybe she needed me. Maybe things would go back to the way they were. I arrived at Anna's apartment on Friday evening. Daniel opened the door. "Hello, Evelyn." I walked inside. Anna was in the kitchen. She came running toward me. "Mom." I hugged her tightly. I looked around. The apartment was beautiful, clean, comfortable. There were pictures of Anna and Daniel, plants, a desk, books. I asked, "How's work?" "Good." "Are you tired?" "A little." "Are you eating properly?" Anna laughed. "You've been here 5 minutes." I laughed too, but I was still observing everything. I saw that my daughter was happy. That should have made me happy. Instead, I felt something strange. I felt unnecessary. That night, Anna said, "Mom, I need to talk to you." I thought she was going to thank me. I asked, "What is it?" She sat across from me. "Do you remember when you said that if I moved away, you wouldn't help me anymore?" I was silent. "Yes." "I'm sorry." Anna looked at me. "I know, but..." "I know." "Mom." I looked at her. "I want you to let me finish." I nodded. Anna took a deep breath. "I love you." "Yes." "I know you've done a lot for me." "Yes." I know you've always wanted to protect me. I nodded. But I can't keep living like this, I asked. Like what? I can't call you every time I make a decision. I can't talk about Daniel without hearing you analyze everything he says. I can't accept a job you don't like without feeling guilty. I can't go somewhere without worrying that you'll be upset. My throat tightened. Anna said, I'm 30. I looked at her. She was crying. Mom, can you please let me live like an adult? That was the moment I told you about at the beginning. I didn't answer. I didn't get angry. I didn't argue. I simply felt something inside me break. I looked at my daughter. For the first time, I saw her as a woman. Not the 6-year-old girl. Not the child who needed me to rescue her. But a woman who was in love. Working, building a life. And asking her mother to step back. I finally said, I need time. Anna nodded. I understand. I stayed for 2 more days. But I stopped asking questions. I stopped checking. I stopped giving advice. I simply watched. And I realized something that hurt more than anything. Anna was actually okay. She didn't need me to solve everything. She could handle things herself. She knew what she wanted. She had friends. She had a career. She had Daniel. She was still my daughter, but she wasn't my little girl anymore. On the flight home, I stared out the window. I thought about Richard. I remembered him saying, she won't be a child forever. I had laughed and said, I know. But I didn't know. Or perhaps I didn't want to know. I went home. I sat in the living room. I pulled out an old photo album. I looked at every picture. Anna at 6, Anna at 10, Anna at 18, Anna graduating, Anna at 25, Anna at 30. I stopped at one photograph. Anna was 22. She was smiling, not the smile she gave me, a natural smile. I stared at it for a long time, and I finally understood. I had spent too many years trying to preserve the little girl I remembered, had loved the memory of my daughter more than I had accepted the woman she had become. I had tried to love the past instead of embracing the present. That was the hardest truth I had ever faced. I started changing, not immediately. I still had moments when I wanted to call. I wanted to ask, have you eaten? I stopped myself. I wanted to ask, what is Daniel doing? I stopped myself. I wanted to ask, are you sure that job is right for you? I stopped myself. I started asking different questions. Were you happy today? Did anything make you proud? Do you want me to listen, or do you want advice? That small change made our relationship better. Anna started calling me again. She started telling me more. But there was something I didn't know. Her life wasn't as perfect as I thought. A year later, Daniel lost his job. His company went bankrupt. Anna was also having problems at work. The two of them began fighting. I knew some of it, but I didn't interfere. I thought I was finally doing the right thing. I said, if you want to talk, I'll listen. Anna said, thank you, Mom. One night she called. Mom. Yes, Daniel and I had a fight. I stayed quiet. I wanted to say, I told you so? But I didn't. I asked, do you want me to listen? Or do you want my advice? Anna was silent. Then she laughed. You really have changed. I laughed too. Answer the question. I just want you to listen. Okay. She talked. I listened. Didn't judge. I didn't give Daniel advice through her. I didn't tell her what she should do. I just listened. After almost an hour, Anna said, thank you. I asked, are you okay? Not really. Then take your time. That was the first time I understood something. Sometimes the person you love doesn't need you to rescue them. They just need a safe place to say what they're feeling. It had taken me 30 years to learn that. But then something happened that made everything much harder. Anna called me one morning. Her voice sounded strange. Mom, Yes, I need you. My heart started pounding. I'm here. I'm at the hospital. What? I'm okay. What happened? Daniel was in an accident. Don't remember what I did after that. I only remember booking a flight, driving to the airport, calling Anna, wanting to know everything. But I remembered her words. Don't control. Don't decide. Don't turn your fear into someone else's burden. I arrived at the hospital. Anna was standing in the hallway. When she saw me, she ran toward me. I hugged her. How is Daniel? He broke his leg and injured his shoulder. Is he going to be okay? The doctors say he'll recover, exhaled. I looked at Anna. She looked exhausted. I wanted to ask, have you eaten? But I didn't. I simply said, I'm here. She held me tighter. I know. During the days that followed, I stayed beside Anna, but I didn't make decisions for her. I brought food, did laundry, sat beside her, drove her to the hospital. But when the doctor asked, what does the family want to do next? I let Anna answer. When Daniel needed to make decisions about work, I let him make them. When Anna said, I don't know what to do, I asked, do you want me to think it through with you? She nodded. We thought about it together. I didn't decide for her. I finally understood the difference. Years ago, I thought, Mom knows best. Now I understood. Mom can help you see things clearly, but the decision still belongs to you. Maybe that is what it really means to be the mother of an adult child. You don't hold the steering wheel for them. You sit in the passenger seat. If they ask for directions, you help. If they want to drive, you let them. If they take a wrong turn, you don't scream. You simply say, it's okay. We can find another way. After Daniel recovered, Anna and I became closer. But this time, it was a different kind of closeness. I was no longer the commander. She was no longer the rebellious child. We became two women, a mother, a daughter, both with lives of our own. One evening, Anna asked, Mom, do you know what hurt me the most? I said, what? It wasn't that you interfered. I was surprised. Then what was it? For years, I thought that if I didn't listen to you, I was a bad daughter. I lowered my head. Anna continued. I thought that if I wanted a life different from the one you imagined for me, it meant I didn't love you. My eyes filled with tears. I said, I'm sorry. Anna shook her head. I know you never meant to hurt me. But I did. Yes. I looked at her. Do you hate me? She was silent. Then she said, sometimes. I nodded. I didn't argue. Did you ever want to leave me completely? She looked at me. Sometimes. I took a deep breath, but I still love you. Anna nodded. Yes, I smiled sadly. I love you too. We hugged. I realized that mature love isn't always beautiful. It has cracks. It has painful conversations. It has distance. But when both people respect each other, love can survive. Months later, Daniel recovered. Anna returned to work. Life became normal again. I went back to Portland. Before I left, Anna hugged me. Mom, yes? I want you to promise me something. What? If I ever do something you don't like? I looked at her. Yes? Don't try to rescue me immediately. I laughed. That's going to be difficult. She laughed too. I know. I'll try. She nodded. That's enough. I got on the plane. This time, I didn't cry when I left her. I missed her. But I wasn't afraid. That was the difference. Began building a life of my own. I took a painting class. Traveled alone. I reconnected with old friends. I joined a volunteer group. I learned how to cook new dishes. Even bought a small car and drove alone to Arizona. Years ago, I would have called Anna 10 times to tell her where I was. This time I sent one message. Mom made it to Arizona. I'm fine. Anna replied. Have fun, Mom. I stared at the message. I smiled. Just 2 words. But I felt lighter than I had in years. I didn't need her to worry about me. She didn't need me to worry about her. We still loved each other. We simply no longer lived each other's lives. One evening, I sat outside on my porch. I thought about the words Anna had said years earlier. Can you let me live like an adult? Back then, I had heard those words as rejection. Now I understood them as a cry for help. My daughter wasn't asking me to love her less. She was asking me to trust her more. That was something I had failed to do. I had thought protecting her meant blocking every dangerous door. But life doesn't work that way. People have to walk through those doors. They have to fail. They have to be rejected. They have to make bad choices. They have to hurt. They have to learn how to stand again. If I prevented all of that, I might make Anna safer. But I might also make her weaker. I didn't want that anymore. I wanted my daughter to be able to stand on her own when I was no longer there, because that is perhaps the greatest gift a mother can give her child. Not money, not a house, not a perfectly planned life, but the confidence to know. Even when Mom isn't here, I can still live. Years later, Anna married Daniel, not because I approved, but because it was her choice. I stood beside her on her wedding day. When Anna walked down the aisle, I looked at my daughter. I no longer saw the 6-year-old girl. I saw a woman who had once been controlled by her mother, who had been angry, who had walked away, who had eventually come back, and who had learned how to love her mother without losing herself. After the ceremony, Anna hugged me. She said, "Mom." "Yes? Thank you for not stopping me." I laughed. "You know, it took a lot of self-control." She smiled. No, I still have opinions. I know, but I'll wait until you ask." Anna looked at me. "That's a huge improvement." I laughed. "Don't get too proud of me." She hugged me. Again, I closed my eyes. In that moment, I understood something I should have understood much earlier. Children don't leave their parents simply because they grow up. Sometimes they leave because they feel they cannot grow up and still be loved. I nearly lost Anna because I thought I had to keep her close. I was wrong. If you want your child to stay in your life, sometimes you have to be brave enough to open your hand. Let them go. Let them try. Let them make mistakes. Let them come back if they want. And most importantly, let them know the door is always open, but the life beyond that door belongs to them. I once thought I had to protect Anna from the entire world. Now I understand. I only needed to teach her how to stand when the world wasn't kind, and I had to learn how to stand when she no longer needed me the way she once did. That was the hardest lesson, but it was also the most beautiful, because every mother eventually faces that moment. The moment when the child she once carried in her arms says, "I can do it myself." And we have 2 choices. We can hold their hand tighter, or we can smile and say, "Yes, I trust you." I chose wrong for many years. But fortunately, life gave me a chance to make things right. Not to become a perfect mother, but to become a mother who understood how to love her daughter properly. If you asked me what changed me the most, I wouldn't say it was age, it wasn't Richard's death, it wasn't Anna moving away, it wasn't even our biggest argument. It was one very ordinary evening. I was sitting alone in my quiet house. I looked at a photograph of Anna at 6 years old. Beside it was a photograph of her on her wedding day. I looked at both photographs for a long time, and then I realized the little girl in the first photograph had never disappeared. She had simply grown up, and I had loved that little girl so much that I failed to recognize that I also had to love the woman she became. I had tried to bring the past back, but my daughter didn't need to go backward. She needed me to walk forward with her. I placed the 2 photographs next to each other. I smiled. Then I whispered, something I had never been brave enough to say before. "Anna, you don't need Mom anymore." I paused. I smiled. "But Mom will always be here. That is the difference." A mother doesn't need to be needed in order to know she is loved. A child doesn't need to depend on her mother to prove that she loves her. And when both people understand that, love doesn't disappear. It grows up. I think that is what happened to us. Our love no longer looks like it did when Anna was 6. It isn't me tying her shoelaces. It isn't me checking her homework. It isn't me telling her to come home before 10. It isn't me asking where she is. It isn't me choosing her career or her partner. Now love is a phone call, a text message, a surprise visit, a simple, "How are you, Mom?" Or, "I'm doing okay." Sometimes it is nothing more than comfortable silence between two people who know they are safe with each other. I don't know how many years I have left, but I'm no longer afraid because I know Anna will live. She will have happy days, sad days, successful days, terrible days. She will make her own choices. She will face the consequences. She will get back up and I won't be able to protect her from every pain. But I can do something better. I can trust her. I can trust that the little girl I once held in my arms has become a strong enough woman to live her own life. And if one day she needs me, I'll be here. Not with a list of instructions. Not with decisions made for her. Not with the words, "I told you so." But simply with the arms of a mother and the words, "You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself." I once thought I was teaching Anna how to grow up. But in the end, Anna was the one who taught me. She taught me that loving someone doesn't mean holding them close. She taught me that protecting someone doesn't mean preventing them from experiencing life. She taught me that a mother can be wrong. She can apologize. She can change. And she can still be loved by her child. I was once afraid of the words, "Can you let me live like an adult?" Now, whenever I remember them, I smile. Because those words saved our relationship. They hurt. But sometimes a painful truth is better than a comfortable lie. I wanted to keep Anna close. But eventually, it was letting her go that allowed her to come back. Not because she needed me, but because she wanted me in her life. And for a mother, perhaps that is the greatest gift of all. I once wanted my daughter to always need me. Now I only want her to always know that she is loved. Those two things sound similar, but they are completely different. One requires a child to stay. The other gives a child permission to leave. And I choose the second, because I finally understand. A good mother is not the woman who lives her child's life for her. A good mother is the woman who loves her child enough to teach her how to live her own life, and is brave enough to step back when her child is finally ready to walk forward.